Good Voch Rabbi Say. Nishmat spotted in Eretz Yisrael somewhere in a hidden location. My husband does the daf, something like that. I can't read it, but it's MDY magnet that women are proud of their husbands. Rabbi said, this is Dr. J, and he's a doctor in the army. He's a doctor and he's in the army, and he left this message for MDY. Listen to this. If you have sound, it would be great.
Eli, I'm with our favorite doctor, Dr. J. We're walking back from the hotel. We ran into each other, and he's got a message for you and for the entire MDY family.
I've been in the war since Simchat Torah, and like every other Jew in the world, our lives have flipped completely on their heads since then, and everything that we had before is different than what it is now. And it's been very difficult considering I'm living what feels like a Vietnam movie. And the one thing that has stayed constant in my life, that's been an anchor to my life before the war and my life now, and please God for the future, the one anchor is the daf. And a day hasn't gone by where I've missed the daf, come back from battles, come back from taking soldiers, and make sure you get the daf done. So, kol hakavod, and I guess keep on dafing.
Next. Hillel Kamiansky's on the left. Very good. Rabbi Isai, another one. I showed the story. This was in, I forgot, one of the newspapers where one of the Chayilim, he was injured in his eyes, and they did a procedure, and he was blinded temporarily. And he asked that his father learn the daf with him. And I spoke about it. I showed the picture of him. You can't see. Here he is, back in battle, with his eyesight. Let me see if I could... This is him.
העיניים דומות והלב פועם בעוצמה. זו לא סוף המלחמה, אבל זאת נקודה בדרך. היום, בדיוק חודשיים אחרי, כאן בכיכר פלסטין הארורה, הכיכר שבה צהלו כשרצחו בנו, הכיכר שבה חילקו ממתקים כשירו רקטות לתוך הערים שלנו, הכיכר שבה השפילו את החטופים שלנו, הכיכר שהיא מרכז העיר, מרכז השלטון והסמל של החמאס, הסמל של עזה. כאן בכיכר הרוע הזו אנו ניצבים בגאווה, בראש מורם ובעוצמה להדליק נר ראשון של חנוכה. נעיר את העיר עזה, האפלה והחשוכה, באור שלכם, באור של תואר, באור של טוב ובאור של תקווה ושלום למען מדינת ישראל היקרה שלנו. תחנות תקף 401, גאווה גדולה עבורי לפקד עליכם בחודשיים האחרונים. המשיכו להעיר ולגרש את החושך עד לניצחון.
All right, so he's back and he's doing the daf. Dear Belly, thank you. Yosef Kitai, Yechiel Mordechai Kitai, Chestnut Ridge, New York. Somebody sent me that picture. I was hoping that nobody sent me. I don't have any of those. I need it for my own vault.
Yeah, well, someone's going to frame it and send it to you. Big.
All right. Rabbi, so we have to start the daf, but please get the message. I'm sorry I can't write the full message. I didn't see the other message. I don't know what this is. Yosef, you'll have to send me the other message. I couldn't find it. It wasn't attached. I'm just with a patient, but wanted to get this out over to you to look at. Rebelli be interested in starting to have that part of MDY be sponsored. I guess he's talking about the MDY kids. Yeah. Sponsored so we can up the game and offer more, better incentives. I know it's not much, but I can start off the first month and give $1,500. Is that shekel or dollars? Do we know? Huh? Dollars. He's in America, this person? Is that okay? Other people would also be interested in sponsoring either monthly, weekly, or daily. If Rebelli would announce it like it does for all the other sponsors. Plus, for some people, potential donors, the lure of Tinoy Kishel Beis Rabban has an extra appeal, a pure Torah being learned. Absolutely, he's right. Down the line, it can definitely be expanded. The Chutznik kids really start a learning revolution where kids are excited to learn Gemara and not avoid it like the plague. And once they're not forced to learn it because they're not in yeshiva anymore, they become like the people who email Rebelli. They haven't picked up Gemara in 63 years, but now they're hooked. And that's the side of the self-confidence that the kids can have by being able to understand and learn and not feel like a loser, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They end up in a bad place. Yes, I know we're learning Bava Kama and not Megillah like the message, but who knows? Please let me know. I know each idea is thoroughly fleshed out, but if you be a go, or possibly yes, I'd like to donate while it's still Zois Chanukah for us. Thank you, Eli, after. I think it's a great idea, and yeah, go ahead. Let's do it. I don't know exactly what he wants to do. He wants to sponsor the MDY kids? Yes, let's go. Great idea. Gewaldig idea. Rabbi say, huh?
People also like to know how they can get started in their own vocation.
Oh, they like that thing.
People like the idea.
Somebody started, what's his name? I forgot his name now. He's a big part of the shir from Muncie. He started it in Muncie, but it didn't take off. You have to, maybe Benny. Benny's very good at starting things like that. Because he started the thing at the Waldorf and the Israeli. Oh, Rabbi Sai, big announcement. Tomorrow, Beis Hashem, we're launching the exact same shir in Hebrew. So if you know anybody stark that wants to do the shir in Hebrew, tomorrow night, every night, Beis Hashem, in the base marriage right here, at 9 o'clock p.m., followed by Ma'ariv. Same stories, but if you want to hear the stories twice, you have to come to the Hebrew one first, and then the following morning it's in English. It's first Hebrew, then English. So it's actually, it works out better for the English here. It's going to be Beis Hashem the night before. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. The Masechta, the month is sponsored. Lili Nishmat, Chaneh bar Elimelech, the sponsor of the Chodesh. Nishmat, Mendel ben Pinchas. Parnas HaChodesh, Lili Nishmat, Zechrya ben Moshe, Lili Nishmat, Zechrya bas Yosef. Parnas HaShavua, for Shleima, for Deva, Dvora bas Sora. And Hatzlacha for all those who say Vayichulu with kavana. Anybody think about it, Vayichulu? No? What do you ask for? Let's hear. Why? If it comes out, yeah, we want to know. By Peretz, Chaim, Levin, Hillel, Yaakov, Beryl, Leib, Saydowitz, whose Yahrtzeit was today. He was Ne'herag Al Kiddush Hashem while coming home from Ma'ariv near Punivitch, Lithuania in the early 1900s. Hashem Yikom Damai, may his neshama have an aliyah by his great-grandson. Parnas hayoim, l'schos r'fu shleima l'Moshe Shmuel ben Sori bas Sion, and being able to pay my kids' tuition. The art of the month we don't have yet. Rabbi Sai, we're holding on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis, like 15 lines from the bottom, Ki Osir Avdimi. Rabbi Sai, Ki Osir Avdimi, where Avdimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Bava. Who is the Galadar in Eretz Yisrael then? Rabbi Yochanan. We have to say a few Shalom Alechems. We have Shmuley. Shmuley Fine is here. Shalom Alechem. Were you in the war at all, or chilling here?
You gave me pizza?
You're injured. Okay, not from that. Okay, welcome. What's your names? Jake Manis. Shalom Aleichem. Listen, Shalom Aleichem, Dad. From where are you guys? Scottsdale? Scarsdale. Very nice. Shalom Aleichem. And to all the guests. Shalom. Ki Asur Ravdimi. So Ravdimi comes from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, and he brings with him some sayings from Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Yochanan. Koifer, matam Eloi mar im koifer. So let's see the pasuk. Oh, we didn't do. Should we do it? Do we have time?
Yeah.
What? No. You said no. Okay, so real quickly, tam b'shalom gufoy. We know that a tam pays from his own body as much as it's worth. The muad pays ma'aliyah. The muad pays. It doesn't matter how much he's worth. Kufra kapara. We're talking about koifer here. What is koifer? Is koifer to bring a kapara tshuva for the person that his axe killed somebody, or is it mamoina? Is it just a payment? Moed v'knas, potter that we know. If you're moed in a knas, you are potter. Shibuda, the Reb Nasan, if you owe money to somebody, and that somebody owes money to a third person, you could just go directly to the original guy. Okay, look, ayin in the chart. Rishus Mishana, that's a very interesting one. Please remember this for the rest of your lives. Rishus Mishana, if there's a animal that's a muad, and it goes to another ownership, does it change into a tam? Rishus Mishana. Potter we had already. Kufr Kapar, we had it. Oh, somebody didn't do the job here, which is me. Come, Leib the Rabbi Minei. Okay, we'll start in a second. And we're going to go quick today. Come, Leib the Rabbi Minei means if a person is chayiv misa for killing somebody, he doesn't pay other payments that are on the side. Roy kibe muchzak. a bechar or a husband doesn't inherit something that happened, a gain that happened after the death of the father or the wife. Right. Eishoy mishum mamoinoi is your fire that goes out. Is a mishum mamoinoi. It is mishum mamoinoi. We've treated it as like an animal. Oh, okay, and that's it for today. Okay, so here we go. Here, im koifer. You see the pasuk, im koifer yushas olav. The shaila is, why does it say the word im? Now, l'rabois koifer shaloi b'chavana ke koifer b'chavana. So Rabbi Yochanan holds, he's mechulik on what we were saying, koifer. When an animal kills a person without intent, says Rabbi Yochanan, because there's the extra word im, he has to pay koifer. I wanted to say this ma'isa yesterday, I'll say it today, talking about koifer. There's a, Rabbi Yankel Galinsky went somewhere to a very wealthy guy, and the guy says, listen, you want to make good money for your yeshiva? Yeah. I'll give you $5 million on condition that you can bring my son back and bring him back to Yiddishkeit. He's off. So Rabbi Galinsky said, you know, $5 million, small change by me. This guy's very confused. What are you, a millionaire? He said, yeah, based on your math, I have 11 boys, and they're all on the derech. Sound like at least $55 million. What do I need your $5 million for? Koifer. So we're talking about is koifer for a kapara, is koifer the value of the person. Based on your logic, that we take the word im, and we say that it means that even when the animal doesn't have an intent, look at the next pasuk. It says im eved yigach. It also has the im. Then if you kill a slave, the bull kills a slave, without intent, you should be chayav 30. And if you say yes, who's Rish Lakish? Rish Lakish is Rabbi Yochanan's brother-in-law, right? Rish Lakish was a great robber, and then he met Rabbi Yochanan, and he said, the whole thing, you should use your koiches v'toira. He became a Baal Tshuva. So we're asking a question on Rabbi Yochanan, who's l'chayr greater than Rish Lakish, who's already Rabbi Yochanan before Rish Lakish became a Baal Tshuva. And he says, Rish Lakish says that, no, it's not true. That if a shar kills a slave without intent, you don't pay the shloishim. You're asking one on the other. Kiyasa, Ravin Omer, Rabbi Yochanan, Mamish Mefurish, Eved, Matam Eloimar, Im Eved, it should just say Eved. Why say Im? The rabbis have Shalem Chavana, Kevin Chavana, that even Rabbi Yochanan says Mefurish, here's a Mefurish. You're trying to be medayik. If we said it Im Koifer, we should say the same thing, Im Eved. Here he is. Ravin said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, he literally learned that exact drasha. The extra word Im tells us that if the bull kills a slave without intent, you still have to pay koifer. What's the problem? We say, like we said yesterday, usually it's dependent. We said it's dependent. If you kill this bull, then you pay koifer. You don't kill, you don't pay. Over here you see not like that. Okay. As the Gemara, so Rish Lakish doesn't darshan the im by the evet, so maybe you shouldn't darshan the im by the first im koifer. Amri loy evet im evet loy darish koifer im koifer darish. Not true. He darshans the first one, not the second one. Umayishna, what's the difference? So let's take a look at the pasuk here, both of them together. Actually, no, just the one im evet, because I want to explain it. Evet im evet loy ksib b'mokim tashlumim, says the Gemara. So if you look over here, the pasuk right before, what does it mean? Rashi doesn't explain it so well. In vein yigach ubas yigach, the pasuk right before talks about killing a human being. Kamish b'dazeh, killing a Jewish child, a Jewish girl, bein bas. So what do you want the pasuk to say? How should it say it? Eved yigach hashar. We're talking about a bull killing a yid, and then we want to move into the slave. So you have to say, and if he kills a slave. So you need the word im. But when it comes to koifer, it should just say, Koifer Yushas Olav. What's im Koifer? The word im over here is completely extra. So it says Rish Lakish, that's why I darshan this im, I don't darshan the im eved. Why? Because im eved, it flows beautifully with the pasuk right before. I need that word im, it's not extra. V'chein bivas, bivenu bivas. Same halacha if a bull kills a little kid or a little girl, you're chay, he gets killed, the whole thing, same halacha, it's Torah Rabbana. Oy vein yigach, oy vas yigach. I don't know if you remember, in the beginning of the Masechta we learned that the word negicha applies only to human beings because they have mazel. So over here you see that even a small child has mazel. And we said mazel, one shot with mazel was that he knows how to get away, or literally maybe he has mazel, he has like special protection from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even a small child. So there's no difference between a small child or an adult. So the Gemara says, why do I need a pasuk? I have a kavachomer. When a human being kills another human being, you're chayiv. When a shark kills a human being, you're chayiv. When a human being kills another human being, it doesn't matter. You know, the Bezdin's not going to say, oh, you only killed a 9-year-old. You killed a 9-year-old, you're chayiv. So why do I need a pasuk? L'chayr is just simple. Just like by human beings, it doesn't matter if the kid is a small kid or an adult, you chayiv for ritzicha. So too, when a bull kills human beings, it doesn't matter if he killed an adult or a child. And therefore, the question is, why do you need a pasuk? Why does the Torah have to tell us, oh, and even if a bull kills a child? So the first one is more of a memetzinu, now we have a kavachomer. When it comes to a person that it's a killer, there's a difference between an adult and a child. A child who kills, we're not going to do anything to him really. Yet, if you kill a child, your chayiv just says you killed an adult. The shar that kills, it doesn't matter if he's a week old or 2 years old, we're going to put him to death. In other words, by human beings, there's a difference in the Yahrtzeit. The Yahrtzeit has to be a gadol. By a shar, there's no difference in the Yahrtzeit. And it did. So certainly, kavachomer, when you kill a human being, there shouldn't be a difference between a katan and a gadol. Says more like that's not so, and therefore the question is, why do I need a pasuk? So the answer is loy. Can't learn any limudim. Just to show it, in case you forgot the arbad dvarim, we're not talking about nezek. We're talking about tzari b'sheves boishes. Yechayiv in other things. So you can't, humans are different. That's why I need a pasuk. I can't learn this from a limud. I wouldn't know that if a shark kills a child, that he's chayiv. Human beings, if they kill children, they're chayiv because they're chayiv in all sorts of things, but a shark is not chayiv in all the things. Chayiv alaktanim kigdoilim. Now, because if you look at the pasuk, check this out. Pasuk Chavtes says, "V'imshor nagachu mitmol shel shoym." What does that mean? Muad. And it says, "Oiven yigach u'vas yigach." So Oiven yigach u'vas yigach is referring to the pasuk, the two pasukim before, and we're talking about a muad now. So where it says, okay, a shor that's a muad that kills a child, you kill him, whatever you need to do. B'tam enayin, how do you know if it's his first time? Kills a child, how do you know he's chayiv? Dinu. This is called a mamatzinu. Since we find that you're mechayev a man and a woman, you're mechayev for children, just like when a bull kills a man and a woman, we don't care. Muad, tam. So too, when he kills a child, we don't make enough community between a tam and a muad. So that's a mematzinu. And the Gemara is going to slug it up. We have also kavachomer, simple kavachomer. Comes to a man and a woman, they're always chayiv to pay for damage. And you didn't differentiate between a tam and a muad. If a tam kills a human being, put him to death. Young child who causes damage doesn't pay. And it did, certainly they have the upper hand. They could damage, they don't have to pay. So certainly if somebody damages them, even if it's tam, you have to kill the tam. So number one, let's go 1-1. We had a Mematzino, we had a Kavachimer. So on the Mematzino we said, Amris, you want to say like this also. Wait a minute, you're trying to learn from a muad that you have to kill the tam. I'm just going to read these words. They might not be part of the Gemara. They are part of the Gemara. Rashi brings them, so it's part of the Hezbollah. You said we know that a muad is more chamer. Why? He has to pay koifer. Tam doesn't pay koifer. So what do you mean mematzino? If I see a halacha by a muad, I'm going to say the same halacha by a tam. They're not the same. Muad is much more chamer, has to pay koifer. Void. And now, on the second thing that you told me, so your second thing that you told me was a kavachimer. So now I have a pircha to the kavachimer. What kavachimer is? If you kill an adult, maybe you have to put the bull to bye-bye. Send him to his creator. Why? Because he just took somebody that's chayv in mitzvahs. What's the difference between an adult and a child? Adult has potential, he's doing mitzvahs, he's wearing tefillin, he's learning Torah. A bull killed that kind of person, so you have to kill the bull. But if you could say such a svara, the bull only killed a child. The child is not chayv in mitzvahs. You kids don't listen to this. Where are you? Don't take it seriously. I don't think so. That's why I need a pasuk. Negicha b'tam, negicha b'muad, negicha l'misa, negicha l'nezaken. So we have a limud that there's no difference between a tam and a muad, and there's no difference. And if he causes damages, he's chayiv. If he kills, he's chayiv. Okay. The boys say beautiful. We're starting a new Mishnah. Just perfect timing. You can all wake up. What are we going to do? Should we start the whole shir over? I feel like we have to start the whole shir over. Yosef, can you do some like editing and just take off all the garbage? Start from the Mishnah. Says the Heilige Mishnah, used to be sponsored by Moshe Cohen, the schos for his Hatzlacha and Ruchnius and Gashmias. Apparently had a lot of Hatzlacha and Ruchnius and Gashmias, and he no longer sponsors the Mishnah. Shar shahaya mischakich b'koisel. There was a shar. Let me show your boys what it looks like. Here we go. Gewaldige stuff. Here we go. There's no but. Tzaddik. Okay. Without noise. Okay. And the wall fell on the person. Let's see now if the other thing works. No, I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Okay. He had kavana to kill a Knani, and he killed the Yisrael instead. He tried to kill a non-viable baby, and he killed a baby that's viable, lived more than 30 days, wasn't born premature, potter. He's potter misa. Omar Shmuel potter misa, v'chay b'koifer. Shmuel learns the word im. You remember here we have this, gevaldik, it goes quickly. The word im teaches us that's possible not to die as a bull, but the owner has to pay koifer. That's one shita. Rav Omar potter mizeh mizeh. Rav doesn't hold of the sim. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Yochanan. He holds that either you kill the bull and the owner pays koifer, and if you don't kill the bull, you don't pay koifer. So in this case, if you don't kill the bull, you don't pay koifer. Ask the Gemara, "V'amai hot tambu." Why does Shmuel say you have to pay koifer? It's his first time scratching his back on a wall. Says the Gemara, this is a halacha that if a bull falls on top of a human being in a pit, the balabas of the pit, the owner of the pit, has to pay koifer. The question is, you only pay kofer when it happened 3 times. How in the world did a bull fall on a person 3 times in a pit? Says the Gemara, yes, he fell on a person 3 times. It's possible. The bull was a little bit of a, interesting bull, missing a couple screws. And he kept on going to the pit to look what's inside the pit, and he fell on a person. Nachamal. Now, I don't know if you remember, we'll just point it out because my chavrusa took the Dirshu test on Friday, and he asked me this question. And for some reason, after like 5 minutes, I was able to come up with 3 out of the 4. How is it possible that an animal can become a muad? How is it possible that without killing him, he became a muad? In other words, if a tam kills a human being on the first time, you have to kill him right away. So how did it happen 3 times? So Gemara has a bunch of tirutzim. We were left with 4. The famous one that everybody remembers, that he ran away. Remember this flashlight? He ran away to the Agam. And then he came back and he killed and came back. The other one was that Edim Zoymimim came all the way at the end, or that he really damaged them, he injured them, and then they all 3 died at the same time. What was the 4th one that I didn't remember? This is the one that they knew who the Baal Bayis was, but what happened? Yeah, they didn't know what shar, and then later on they figured out who the shar was. Okay, Uncle Ponim. So over here also we're going to say he's the type of he did this 3 times. He scratched the first time. We said it was a mistake. He did it 2nd time. He said, "Oy, what a coincidence!" The 3rd time, we realized that this bull, when he sees somebody standing behind the wall, he pretends he has an itch, and he scratches it back, and the wall falls down on a person. I want to throw this out there, but I don't hold like this, because if I held like this, I would be in big, big trouble. But the Bnei Yissaschar says that it's usher to scratch your itch. That's what he holds. To scratch. If you have itch, you're not a scratch. He says that it's damaging, and that if you don't control that, then you might not control other types that you have, whatever. I don't hold like that. I have a lot of scratching going on. Mela, I'll be in big trouble. Ihachi, what? Which also reminds me, the famous, I said the story a long time, I'll say it again. Somebody asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, unfortunately, this is a type of shilas he used to get. He says, Rebbe, the guy wrote him a letter. He says, if I have an itch on my right foot and on my left foot, which foot should I scratch first? So he said, you should scratch them one on the other. He guarded them zebuzeh. I'll go upon him. Okay, fine. Zok the Gemara. Says the Gemara, if that's the case, that he scratched his back and he killed 3 people, we should kill him. Over there by the pit, maybe they had some vegetables growing there. So every time he went to eat a vegetable, he fell and it was like a trap, and he killed somebody. What was a person doing on the bottom of the pit? I don't know. And 3 times nachoich. But it's a very far-fetched story, but it's possible. But over here, what? Punkt? He found people behind the wall and he knocked down the wall. Says the Gemara, he did it for Zana. He keeps on having a scratch. I think I showed it in Shir. No, like they put this like a maybe screws or something, like something very, and the I didn't show it to you guys. Okay, they have this thing. It's called like a cow scratcher. They put it. They tie it to a tree. It's something that if you were to scratch your body, you just cut your skin. But they love it. They go back and forth on it. So this guy had a scratch, and that's what he did. And then he keeps on going from room to room, knocking down houses, killing people. So it says the Gemara, maybe he's mad at the person. Maybe when he sees people, he knocks it down. How do you know he did it because he was itching? It says the because if you look good, you look at this thing over here, you'll see. I think you can see it over here. This is another one. A different one. I didn't show you this one. Basically, the guy, okay. After he continues scratching. You see, he didn't want to kill him. He has a geschmack itch. Okay. Says the Gemara, Daf Yomi Beis Vakati Tzroiros Ninu. So here, let's go back to Tzroiros for a second. If you don't remember what it looks like, basically, it's not attached to his body. It's something that came off his body and flew, and we had a whole sugi about Tzroiros. So this also, it's not part of him. He was on the wall. It's like an outcome of what he did. So this, our artist who's Eino Yehudi, the 3D guy. So we tried to explain it to him and it didn't really come out. We tried to explain to him how this works. I was excited. We're going to have a 3D that actually explains something that's hard to understand. But the point is that here's the wall, and the bull was scratching it. As he was scratching himself, he kept on pushing down the wall until it hit the person. So it is part of him. It didn't fly off him. It didn't knock him over here and then the wall fell. He was with the wall the entire time until it went down. Tanke will say the Shmuel, v'tiyufta the Rav. Oh, the turning of the daf. By the way, I believe tonight even or tomorrow is the shloishim of Binyamin Early. The turning of the daf is sponsored by Hanan and Shira Averbach. Leilo Nishmas, their holy nephew, Binyamin Meir ben Zev David, the son of Jen and Robert Early. Leilo Nishmas Binyamin Meir ben Zev David. I can't believe it's already a month. It's unbelievable. Time flies. What? I think that so they're doing something tomorrow. So it's Monday. Okay. Chaparayim, if you have Gemaras, Shkolim, whatever you have, do it. Oh, so now this is a little sikum of everything that we learned. It says in the Brayz like this: there's an animal that's chayiv both misa and koifer. There's 4 cases. V'yesh chayiv bekoifer upoter mimisa. If we stop right here, this is exactly what Shmuel said. There's an animal that's chayiv in koifer and poter mimisa. We're going to see the Gemara. The Gemara explains everything. V'yesh chayiv misa upoter min koifer. And there's one that's chayiv death penalty. You don't have to pay the koifer. V'yesh poter mizeh. And there's one that's poter for both. Okay, so what's the case? Says the Gemara, mu'bekavana chayiv misa ubekoifer. The worst of the worst. It goes from the worst of the worst to the best of the best. You have the muad who had intent to kill, so he's chayiv misa and his owner has to pay koifer. And this is the case that we're looking for. This is our Mishnah. Muad shaloi b'kavana. He's a bull that's a muad and he didn't have intent. It says mufurish in the Braisa chayiv b'koifer. The owner has to pay. Upater memisa. That's what Shmuel says. It's possible not to have the death penalty and to pay koifer. Rav, on the other hand, it's a steer to Rav because Rav says if you're pater from misa, you're pater from koifer. So that's a steer to Rav. And finally, the 4th case, third case, if the tam has intent to kill, we kill him, but the owner is pater mikoifer. Why is he pater mikoifer? Because koifer, you don't pay koifer if it's a tam, only a muad. Tam shaloi b'kavana, this is the best of the best. He never did anything, doesn't have a history, and he didn't have intent. Pater mizeh, he's pater from misa, and certainly pater from koifer. Dani zakin shaloi b'kavana. And when the bull does damage, what kind of damage? Keren, without intent. Rabbi Yehuda mechayev. Rabbi Yehuda says that the owner of the animal has to pay. Rabbi Shimon poiter. This reminds me, I don't think it has any connection, but the famous Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, Masechta Shabbos with kavana, miskaven, not miskaven. I don't think it has connection. Says the Gemara, my time of the Rabbi Yehuda Yav Mekafrei. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say that you're chayev without kavana? Again, an animal is running in the street, like we saw that video once, and hits a motorcycle. He didn't want to hit the motorcycle. It was an accident. Shloi kavana, Rabbi says chayev. Rabbi Shimon says potter. Why time of the Rabbi Yehuda Yalef Mekayfer? He learns from koifer. Ma koifer shloi kavana chayev, like we just said in the Braisa, that koifer you're chayev without intent. Also, like Shmuel, so too, if he causes damage. Rabbi Shimon Yalef Mekata the Shar. Rabbi Shimon says, no, it's more similar. Don't compare it to koifer, compare it to the death penalty. If an animal kills anybody without intent, he's potter from Misa. How come Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara is going to ask on each, how come Rabbi Yehuda doesn't look like Rabbi Shimon? How come Rabbi Shimon doesn't look like Rabbi Yehuda? Why does Rabbi Yehuda say that we should learn it from the death penalty? We want to learn payments from payments. Reb Shimon Nami Ne'elef from Kafir. Why doesn't Reb Shimon learn from payment? Says Gemara, listen to this. Danim chiyuv v'deshar mechiyuv v'deshar. This is important. This is where you need to understand pshat. You learn the chiyuv of a shar from the chiyuv of the shar, meaning you learn the chiyuv of a shar from skila of the shar. La puke koifer the chiyuvi the balamhu. Anybody have pshat here? Koifer is something that the owner pays. Nu and the chiyuv and the payment that a shar does is not something that the owner pays. When the shar causes damage, it's not something the owner does. It does. So what's the pshat? Very simple. The chiyuv, says Rashi, of koifer is to save his neshama. It's the chiyuv of the balim. It comes for the owner. Whereas when you pay damages, it's not to save the owner. It's damages that your bull caused, so you have to pay it. Who pays it? The owner pays it. But you hear, chiyuvi the balim doesn't mean he has to pay. Because the payment of damages, he also has to pay. You hear what I'm saying? It's the chiyuv of the owner for his own neshama. That's what it means, chiyuv the balim. To save his neshama. Where?
Doesn't have money.
Exactly. Very good. I was actually thinking of that also. If a person doesn't have money, he still has to pay koifer. Why? It's a chiyuv the balim. The lashon is a little hard. Chiyuv the balim, meaning it's a chiyuv on the human being to save himself. Not that it's a chiyuv to pay like you pay nezek. That's the nafkamina. Okay. It's very interesting. I said this myself, but could I say it again? And as Benny pointed out, that once the Hebrew shir starts, I have freebie. I could say all the mices without worrying about it. I never said them. There was a yeshiva bacher walking down the hallway. I don't know, I learned in Passaic, so we had like a water fountain in the hallway. So mamish makes a lot of sense, the story over there. He sees one of his friends, a bacher, bending over by the water fountain drinking. So what does the yeshiva guy do when he sees a guy? You go over to him, you just, with all your might, and you give him a gesunte zetz on the back, something that rings down the hallway. That's part of the yeshiva life. You give him that gesunte zetz, pow! And then he hears the Rosh Hashiva's voice. Rosh Hashiva says, I'm giving you 10 seconds to disappear. That's niskaven laharug is abehema. He had kavana to hit his friend, but it turned out that it was the Rosh Hashiva. But it was a good Rosh Hashiva, a nice Rosh Hashiva. The Rosh Hashiva said, listen, I know it was a mistake. I know you didn't mean to hit the Rosh Hashiva. So do me a favor, run for your life. I'm going to get up in 10 seconds, and I hope you're not there. I don't know. You wouldn't run away. You'd say, huh? There's no cameras in those days. Says the Gemara, you can make a simple deal. It's talking about, and Yosef, check the slides, because Yoshi was supposed to have something for this also. That he was supposed to kill, he went to kill an animal, and the animal jumped to the side, and he killed the guy on the beach chair. But what if he tried to kill the guy in the right beach chair, and instead he killed the guy in the left beach chair? That's the famous machloikis. Seems like you're ischayev. Why? The Mishnah is not like Reb Shimon. The sound of Reb Shimon. I feel this kavan laharig is potter. Even if a bull, not a human being, a bull tried to kill bull A and he ended up killing bull B, he's potter. That's not like our Mishnah. My time with Reb Shimon. It said we learn kemisas balim kachmisas shar. They have to compare the two. That the death of the owner is like the death of the shar. You only kill the owner when he has kavod. Shar nami ad mechaven. You never kill a human being. No, shiloh. But a human being, you have to have kavana. He has premeditated murder. So too a bull. Let's see if I can find the pasuk here. This is gewaldig over here. Here we go. Somebody hates somebody, and he ambushes him. He comes from the side. Okay, fine. But it has to be with a kavana. You have to ambush the guy. And if you try to kill Reuven and you ended up killing Shimon, you potter as Yiskaven loy. But Rabbanan argue. Rabbanan say not true. You try to take somebody's neshama, you try to kill somebody, you thought it was Reuven and ended up being Shimon, you're chayev. So what do they do with Va'or Avloi? It's just say somebody, here's the pasuk, right? Who cares that he ambushed him, that it was him, dafke him? Why do I have to say that? This is goy without a yud. Legoy doesn't mean a goy. Legoy means into a group. Interesting story, like like he's playing Russian roulette with human beings. He takes a brick. He sees a bunch of people standing in a circle. He takes a brick and throws it. He wants to kill somebody. He wants to see who. He's not sure exactly who. One of the 10 people over there is going to die. And they'll have a big laugh and they'll put it on the social media, whatever, it'll be on the zach. Legoy. Into a group. Says the Gemara, so for that, you're not chayev. Why? Because there's a difference. If you try to kill this person, but you didn't know who it was, you thought it's Reuven and Shimon, that's different than just throwing something into a group. Says Gemara Chidami. Why? What's the case? There's 9 Oiv David Zara and 1 Jew. Typically, then we have a Roiv. And a Roiv, with the Roiv, he's potter from, you can't give him the death penalty because 90%, 9 out of 10 chances he was going to kill Knani. And instead he killed it, so you don't kill him. Inami, Palgo, even if it's 50-50, Safek, Nefashis, Lahakil. You're 50-50. When it comes to killing somebody, then you go Lahakil. This is a shas sugi, really. It's good we learned it many times, so it's easy for us. When you have 9 Jews and 1 Knani, Davgav the Ruby Israel, so you should put him to death. Why? Because the chances are that he's going to kill the Jew. So this is the concept of stationary. That the people there were stationary at the time. And when the stationary, we have a concept called dami. Anytime you have stationary, then it turns into 50-50. And 50-50, what do we say? Savg nefashes, lahakel. Where's the pasuk? I don't know. I guess this is supposed to be this. I don't know. I think it was a mistake. Yosef, you'll just fix the mistake. Yeah. Savg nefashes, lahakel. So, by the way, Rashi over here says, you could look in Rashi, the Rashi right before the Mishnah. Look where it says Mishnah, look 2 lines before that. It says in Rashi, anytime we have in Shas, this idea that when it's stationary, it turns into 50-50, this is the source right here. Says the Heilige Mishnah, a bull owned by a woman, I would have a havamina that maybe if it was owned by a woman, it's not the same thing. It's owned by youngsters. So what's the point? You hear Gary? Because I hear you. Some of you hear me. Good. So what's the pshat? When a bull owned by a child, and he goes ahead and he kills a human being, do you kill him? He's owned by a child. Maybe the ownership is not that. More than that. So now you can read this, Shar HaMedaber. Why am I reading like that? A bull that talks. Because there's a Bachar in Yeshiva that couldn't believe that the Mishnah says Shar Medaber. A bull that talks. What's the havamina, he asked? That a bull that talks, you shouldn't kill him. Just because he talks. He looked in all the Rishonim and the Achronim, he couldn't come up with Pshat. He's going crazy. He ended up writing a whole Chabura. Ma'aseh Shaya wrote a whole Chabura. Why a bull that talks? Maybe it has to do with Balak. Maybe she's made bracious. And then finally, his Chavrusa told him, Shara Midbar. We're not even talking about Shara Medaber, we're talking about Shara Midbar. Shara Midbar. What does Shara Midbar mean? Huh? Shara Midbar. What are you laughing? Ma'aseh Shaya, I'm telling you. Ma'aseh Shaya. Obviously, it wasn't an Israeli Bacher. Shara Medaber. So Shara Midbar is a Shara that's Hefker. Pashat Hefker. So you would think that if he doesn't have an owner, it says in the pasuk, look, V'huad b'va'alav. He has to have an owner. Maybe a woman is not a proper ownership. Maybe certainly not a hefker. A hefker animal, you kill him also. Shor hegdish, it belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Maybe there's no ownership there. Shor hager, shemeis vein lo yarshim. A convert, we had this nerdic story. Well, okay, they said the story is not 100%. Now they had in Kiryas Yoel, the Satmar Chassid that was a ger for 5 years. He went back, but he said also it's not so partial. Anyways, he's a ger, and he didn't have yarshim. But it's the same. This is be'etzim the same thing as Shara Midbar. Basically, it's hefker. Gemara is going to say a difference. Hare elu chayav misa. You put them to death. These bulls. Rabbi Yehuda Shara Midbar Shara Hegdish Shara Hager Shemeis P'turim and Amisa. Levi Shalem Bailam. He says these three, the Midbar, Hegdish, and the Ger, since they don't have owners, you don't put them to death. Ton Rabbanan. Shar Shiva. Here I have it right here. If you want to see it real quickly. From Pasuk Chof Ches all the way to Pasuk Lamed Beis, it says Shar 7 times. Ememela 1 time. You need to tell us that we're talking about a bull. But why does it say it another 6 times? Lahavi Shar Isha 1, Shar Yisam 2, Shar Abikros 3, Shar Midbar 4, Shar Agdish 5, Shar Ager Shemeis Vein Yishim 6. It tells us these 6. What he does, it does. The Shar, I don't know. Listen to this. Unbelievable. A bull that had an owner and he killed a human being. And then the owner decided, he's going to go fight anyways. They're going to kill this bull. I'm making it hegdish. It works. It's a great trick. He won't enjoy it. Let HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let the Beis HaMikdash enjoy it. No. You kill it. You kill no gufay. It's dead. It's also bahana. Nogach ulabasoi hifkir. You could be mafkir, be magdish. Memai mikatonik tarti. She proves it from our Mishnah. What we pointed it out. It says 2 exact cases. The same thing. One is a bull from the desert, meaning hefker, and the other one is a bull owned by a ger, which is also hefker. Shar Geshem Meis, my niu, the Kim the Yarshim, Havali Shar Hefker, it's the same thing, and Shar Midbar, Shar Geshem Meis, the Yarshim, and Lolavakum Ashvala, and this is what comes to tell us. It must be, why does it tell us 2 halachas about Hefker? To teach you 1 started out as Hefker, and 1 had an owner and then became Hefker, like the Ger. Shmamino, Tayina Mehachi. We learned also in the Brisa. Mamish this case, if he killed somebody and then the owner made him hegdish or he made him hefker, pater shenemar. That you bring him to Bezdin and he comes in front of the Bezdin. You have to have 1 owner at both times, and if he's hefker, it's not the owner. Says the Gemara, yes, we also need Gemara Din, says the Gemara. You need not only Hamad B'Din, not only to be in front of the Bezdin, but also the Gemara Din that they say, this is the verdict. Rabbi Say, apologize for all the technical difficulty. Have a wonderful week. Have a gewaldige night. And we'll see you tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem, at 7:15.